Hello, my name is Joshua Bryant, and I will be presenting an analysis of root cause of the Fukushima Daiichi reactor plant incident. At the Fukushima Daiichi station, all units were designed by GE. Units 1 through 5 used Mark I containment, and Unit 6 used Mark II. Unit 1 was of the boiling water reactor 3 type, producing a nominal 460 megawatts. Units 2 through 5 were boiling water reactor 4, producing 784. Unit 6 was a boiling water reactor 5 type, producing 1100 megawatts, and at the time of the incident, units 4 through 6 were shut down. The site's owned and operated by Tokyo Electric Power Company, and on the eastern side, the site had a seawall. As you can see, the units were numbered 1 through 4 from right to left, and units 5 and 6 were on the right hand side, or the northern side. For site construction, um, the ground of the site was brought down from 35 meters down to 10 meters above sea level, and this was due to the potential for earthquakes in the area, and it allowed the site to be built on bedrock. As you can see in the picture, the height difference is quite drastic. So the seawall was built on the eastern side and was rated for um, tsunamis up to 5.7 meters. Additionally, the lowered height of the location allowed for reduced operational costs of seawater pumps. Unit 1 began construction on July 25, 1967, and up until the incident, construction was ongoing for further units. During construction, there was a strict adherence to GE design. This created several problems later on. The General Electric boiling water reactors 3, 4, and 5 are all torus-shaped boiling water reactors. The difference is boiling water reactor 3 introduced internal jet pumps, internal recirculation pumps, improved ECCS, that's emergency core cooling system, and improved feedwater systems. The fourth generation increased power density and was available with Mark II containment, but the Fukushima Daiichi site had Mark I. Boiling water reactor 5 had changes in recirc flow mechanisms and the improvements in the ECCS systems. Major red flags with regards to this incident were that due to strict adherence to GE design without consideration for location, it allowed several things to happen. The relative location for the diesel generators is a piece of that strict adherence to GE design. There were seawall analysis and risks that weren't necessarily taken into account. And due to boiling water reactor complexities and shutdown mechanisms, oftentimes they can compound casualties. In 1990, the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission conducted a safety analysis and concluded that tsunamis pose the highest risk for the site. In 2005, TEPCO was found to have falsified large amounts of data for maintenance. And in 2010, a analysis was performed of tsunami risk, and as of the incident, no action was taken place. On 1446 Japan Standard Time, Friday, March 11, 2011, the fourth largest earthquake ever on record with a magnitude of 9.1 was recorded off the coast of the Tohoku Prefecture of Japan. The exact location was 38.30 degrees north by 142.37 degrees east, which is approximately 231 miles northeast of Tokyo. Several aftershocks were recorded the following days. So the immediate results of the plant from the earthquake were disabled off-site power, automatic shutdown of units 1 through 3, and Unit 1's emergency core cooling system activated. About 11 minutes later, it was shut down due to the status of the reactor being within set points. Following this, the earthquake created several tsunamis with heights of up to 43.3 meters, and those tsunamis hit as far as 10 kilometers inland. At the Fukushima Daiichi site, it's estimated that the tsunamis hit were anywhere between 13 to 15 meters in height, and that's the major tsunamis. The first tsunami struck the plant just 41 minutes after the earthquake at 1527, and more tsunamis were recorded up to 1546 Japan Standard Time. This disabled on-site power. It flooded emergency diesel generators, washed away their fuel tanks, as well as grounding out several electrical panels throughout the plants. As you can see in the illustration, the first wave was approximately slightly over 4 meters, and following this there was a second wave a few minutes later. The second wave was greater than the observable range of 7.5 meters, which is a clear indication that even the recording capabilities were too small. This picture provided by TEPCO shows that the site elevation of the seawater pumps was approximately plus 4 meters above the sea level. The site elevation of the reactor units were about 10 meters above sea level. And at about 1535, the seawater cooling pumps were dysfunctional. At 1536, Unit 1 turbine building flooded. In Unit 1 turbine building, power boards went out. At 1537, Unit 2 turbine buildings, diesel generator went out, and its power boards went out following that. Back in 1536, the seawater pumps went out, and at 1540, the diesel generators in the common pool building went out. So the immediate results of the tsunami included the loss of 12 of 13 of emergency diesel generators on site. The only diesel generator to remain available was not able to supply power to any of the other reactors due to limitations in the electrical panels and short grounding out of the electrical panels by seawater. Additionally, there was a loss of seawater pumps, a loss of equipment control and measurement, initiation of several safety features, many of which had been untested for up to as much as 40 years. At approximately 1800 Japan Standard Time, Unit 1 core was uncovered, and Unit 1's emergency core cooling system reactivated. Following this, major core damage would begin on Unit 1, and obviously the heat would begin to accumulate. Intermediate results would include Unit 3's emergency power battery would be exhausted, and this prevented cooling to the Unit 3. The fuel was exposed in Unit 3. Following this, Unit 1 would suffer melted core. Further core damage would occur in Unit 3, and it was chosen by the operators to inject boric acid in Units 1 and 3. After this, Unit 3 reactor building would explode, and the Unit 3 fuel would melt. Following this, core damage would begin in Unit 2 as the RC ICS would fail, and there was an explosion on the 4th floor in Unit 4. There was a secondary explosion in Unit 3, which wound up damaging Unit 2 further, and Unit 2 began to have melted fuel. Additionally, there was a fire in Unit 4, and seawater injection was administered to Units 1 through 3. So according to this picture, the The relative location of the epicenter of the quake affected several different nuclear reactor plants. As you can see, the only plants that had damage to their fuel were at the Fukushima Daiichi station. The Fukushima Daiichi station and Tokai and Onagawa were safe from the effects of the tsunami eventually. So when compared to the Onagawa nuclear power station, there were several differences between it and the Fukushima site. So the Onagawa nuclear power station was operated by Tohoku Electric Power Company, and it experienced the highest ground movement experienced by a reactor in recorded history. So the reactors there were additionally Mark I containment, and its facility was designed around the safe location of reactors. They had a similar build. It, on the other hand, did have a 14-meter seawall and was capable of protecting um, tsunamis of a height of up to 16 meters. Additionally, at the Onagawa nuclear power station, it was obviously significantly closer to epicenter, had higher tsunami heights, very slightly, and it only lost 2 of the 8 merged diesel generators. This is likely due to the additional engineered features to keep the plants safer. Additionally, the plant response was described to be more organized and controlled, and obviously there were no reactor meltdowns. When looking at the root causes of the Fukushima Daiichi incident, you can see that there were insufficient seawall size, improper diesel generator locations, a lack of waterproofing for diesel generators and their related electrical circuits, as well as the circuits related to reactor safety. There was an insufficient plant elevation, a lack of training by operators for major casualties, and finally, a lack of safety culture. The seawall at the Fukushima Daiichi site was rated for tsunamis up to 5.7 meters, and the tsunami mitigation features did not stand up to a tsunami of 13 to 15 meters in height. So this degree of inaccuracy in safety estimation is considered to be the primary cause of the severity of the incident and caused an inundation of 4 to 5 meters of water throughout the majority of the plant site. So as you can see in this illustration, the tsunami was 14 to 15 meters in height. The seawall had a 5.7 meter rating and was about 10 meters high. The seawater pumps were 4 meters above sea level, and the site was 10 meters above sea level. Additionally, as illustrated in this, the diesel generators were below this 10-meter ground level. TEPCO provided a nice illustration of the relative height of water inundation. As you can see, it's fairly high in this building. For units 1 through 4, they show a depth of water inundation of 45 meters, as well as an inundation depth of no more than 2 meters. And further to the north, there was sufficiently less water inundation, with some small exceptions. When viewing the locations of the diesel generators and layout throughout the plant, one can see that due to strict adherence to GE's design, the location of the diesel generators were left in locations that were not ideal for the coastal location of the plant. This flaw was brought to light by some and dismissed during initial plant construction due to additional costs that the changes could incur. Additionally, due to the severity of the inundation of water, locations of several switchboards have been brought into question. So With regards to plant elevation, the initial design of the plant took the height of land at 35 meters above sea level and brought the reactors down to 10 meters. Some of this reduction in its height was necessary in order to mitigate the effects of an earthquake, which the site suffered through well, as evidenced by the results following the earthquake. However, the tsunami was the true test of the site, which it failed miserably, and the choice to bring the elevation of the units at the Daiichi site down to 10 meters above sea level to reduce the costs related to seawater pumps wound up being a grave mistake. So a major flaw in the Fukushima site was a lack of safety culture. Additionally, a lack of safety culture can be seen in the Kishtim disaster, the Chernobyl incident, the 3 Mile Island incident, the Fukushima incident, the Bhopal disaster, and the Savar building collapse. Due to the lack of safety culture throughout the design and upkeep of the Fukushima Daiichi station, each aspect could have maintained a safely operating plant, even in the case of major disasters failed. Through this series of failures, the main flaws and root causes for the disasters can be seen. With sufficient training, foresight, and preemptive action, any major incident can be prevented.